I'm looking at the third vial there in the row, Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Has Trump taken the right course of action in bombing Iran in the way that he has? And the other question that's, I think, on everyone's mind is like, how do you get out of this? Is this going to end well?
The Iranian government has been extremely hostile and very dangerous to Canada. They killed 55 Canadian citizens and 30 permanent residents by shooting a civilian aircraft out of the sky, PS-752, for reasons we still do not understand and with no explanation whatsoever. They have unleashed agents into our communities and streets to harass the Jewish and Persian communities of Canada. And they are the leading world sponsor of terrorism. It is absolutely unacceptable for the Iranian government to ever acquire nuclear weapons. And there's no doubt in my mind that the only reason that they are enriching uranium is for martial purposes. There's no need to enrich it to the degree they have in order just to have nuclear power plants. I have no doubt that they were doing it for the purpose of developing a weapon. And if that were to happen, it could be catastrophic for neighboring countries, but also for faraway lands if given the ability to develop long-range missiles. So my view and the view of the Canadian government is that the Iranian government cannot be allowed to develop nuclear weapons, and any action to stop them from doing that is necessary for world peace.
Was this action necessary to stop that, in your view?
I think that the initial actions were definitely necessary, particularly the bombings 4 or 5 months ago to target the nuclear development sites. But I think any actions to degrade their nuclear capabilities, prevent them from ever achieving them, is favorable. And I hope that it will weaken the regime enough for the people to overtake it and claim control of their country.
It doesn't look like that's the case. I think they've appointed the son of the Ayatollah to lead the country now, and they seem to be firing at everybody in the region. There were some reports that they might have ballistic missiles that could reach Europe as well.
Yes, and this is what we have to stop. I mean, the idea that they are carrying out this aggression simply because they've been attacked is false. They would have eventually carried it out. The question is when and with what means. And if we had just sort of slept and waited, we would have ended up with a catastrophe. This is different than North Korea. North Korea was allowed to get nuclear weapons, but they don't have the same celestial fundamentalist ideology there. Ultimately, the regime in North Korea is interested in its own survival and its power. The regime in Tehran has a theocratic dream. They believe that there's an afterlife in which they could be rewarded for carrying out mass destruction on what they call the infidels. They don't respond to deterrence the same way that Pyongyang in North Korea would. There's a far greater risk to them having a nuclear weapon than even having that in a communist totalitarian state like North Korea. But for Canada, in this environment, our superpower is, again, our resources. And that's why it has been one of my major obsessions to unblock our resources, get them to tidewater, accumulate them in a strategic reserve that would allow us to really flex our energy muscles in environments like this and also reduce dependence on regime like Iran, like Saudi Arabia, like Venezuela.